The Japanese maple raft here is doing, well, quite okay, I must say. It looks like it's growing very vigorously. And it's the beginning of April now, so it is a good time to do some pinching. Now, you don't have to do that. This is called soft pinching, and it means everything that comes out of the silhouette that you don't want to grow vigorously, you can just pinch back, which will stop the elongation of these parts. And yeah, well, the vigor that you take out there, well, you will regain it in another spot. So that's always something you can do, but you can do that all during the complete growing season, especially in spring. And it helps keeping the silhouette and making other buds open that would not open otherwise. So it's an interesting process. It is quite time consuming, and you cannot do all in one time because, well, obviously not all the buds are opening in at the same moment. So, and you don't need any tools to do that. It's just taking the tip out of the shoot and pinch that off. And I do that almost every day during this month. See, this is the growing of one, well, month maybe. So I don't want it to elongate more than this, so I'm going to have this off. Yeah, soft pinching, something you can do in spring. Hi everyone, and welcome on today's video. Today I'd like to do some work on this Japanese maple. As you can see, this is a raft style. It has 5 trees and well, 5 trunks. It's technically 1 tree, and well, most crazy root base. Well, the tree did not do great in the summer because, well, it was boiled like most maples I have, and it especially means that next year I will have to find a better solution for these trees to keep them out of the full sun, because it's gonna be a disaster if I do not do something about that. So I think I lost a top here, maybe, yeah, maybe a part of the top there. So let's zoom in and see what we can do about that. So obviously it's a very sad thing to lose parts of your tree, especially after such a long period having them and taking care of them, and well, there's not a lot you can do. I just think that I think the top of this tree is dead. I'm just going to try to nibble away some of the bark here, but I think that up to here it's a goner, so there's no use of keeping that. It's dead, it's dead. Yeah, and the sad part here is that this is the front of the composition. Well, it doesn't have to be. Can change that, but do I really want to change that? I don't think so. I like the base here. I don't even think that this root is alive, so I just have to get rid of all that until I find something. I know it's dead, you see. Just nibbling away 1 millimeter at the time, because if you see any green, well, there's hope, but when it's dead, it's dead. We have to be clear about that. So this root is completely gone. Yeah, maples and strong sunlight, well, doesn't go well together. But okay, I still have these trunks here, and I'll find something to make this work again, because I knew that this was going to happen. Part of the trunk did die back last year, and so I air layered exactly the same tree, because I only have one Japanese maple at the moment. So I air layered one, I took cuttings, I have a good cutting that is rooted, I have a good air layer now. So I'll probably just graft the air layer and the cutting, and I'll guide them here and see what happens. Well, I know what's going to happen. They're going to grow against the dead part and probably fuse, because I don't think it's completely dead. I still have some green here, so it's not hopeless. But this one's gone. So let's zoom in on the other. So here I tried to create a new top, which did not work, I think, because, well, the little twig that was supposed to become the new top did not make it. Also boiled, you see it's cracking. Don't think there's any living tissue here. Let's just scrape the surface a little. No, there's no green. There's no green here. So off it comes, and it's completely dead. But yeah, well, you know, this part is alive. There's green here, and I think that this little twig is pretty much alive also. So well, this can become the new top in time. So I'll just clean out parts of the dead wood here. And again, this cannot happen again. I'm so tired of this summer disasters, because you take care of your trees and you water them, and there's just nothing you can do. I have to protect them from the sun, and that's all. This tree should be much more advanced than it is now, and it's just not going to work if every year I have such a dieback. And yeah, I have a terrace here, full sun, so that's good in spring and in the fall. So for periods like now, it's really great. But July and August, it's too hot, and even with the shadow nets, it's not working. Okay, so now here I have some green, I think, so this can still be used, but I need to clean out the part here. It's dead. Yeah. Looks like we have some green here. Okay, So up to here it's good. So I'm going to get some cut paste and try to save as much of the green stuff that I can here by sealing it up. So I never knew if cut paste really helped anything at all, but yeah, well, you know, sometimes you just want to do good, and so I don't think you're doing something bad by applying some cut paste. Some people are absolutely positive about it. I don't know. But hey, I got some. Now I just can use that. Okay. What it does, it fits the color, so, well, that's already something. And now I have to do some winter pruning. Well, no, it's fall, so I want to prepare this tree for fall and be sure that only the parts that I like are staying. So I'm going to have a quick look at how it presents on the camera, and then we'll start the trimming. Okay, so I think that's a little better. Yeah, so let me have a look. Well, we're definitely lacking a top. Yeah. Well, we'll fix that. So, I'm just going to remove everything that I do not want on this tree. So this is pointing right up. So this has to go. Here I have two branches, one pointing down, don't want that. Always leaving a little stub, that's best with maples. I have a small internode here, so I'm going to keep that. I think this portion is dead, so let's just remove it. And that takes care of this part, except for the fact that I have a few branches growing straight here, straight down. Don't need that. Maples do that, they make a whole new bunch of buds. So I have a bud here on a little small branch, I don't know if you can see that here, and that's a nice one because it's going to go up, and well, that's what deciduous trees do, so I like that. This might become a top, I don't know, so just removing some of the dead parts. And then I have finally a decent branch here, little bud opening up, which really means that this tree has been suffering. It's trying to grow now, so that's not a good season to do that, but just trimming back all the really long shoots, already trying to remove some of the buds that I will not need. Here I have a good branch, but it's becoming a little long. So this is a good branch, but too long. I need to get it off. That's a nice branch too. It's a little bit in the back, but it has a nice shape, so it's getting a little crowded here. So I don't think that I'm going to need this in the future. So let's get rid of that. I have a good branch here, a good branch there. There's no need to have all these branches. So that takes care of this tree. So now let's take a look at the tree in the back, which did very well. I'm just going to remove it to keep the canopy. I mean, the tree comes up to here. It's supposed to be smaller in the top than in the lower part. So here I'm just going to remove the final buds. I don't think I have a whole lot of branches that cross. This is a very nice branch, and here I can work with directional pruning. There's no need to wire such little things. It's really a waste of time in your wire. So this branch is growing on the inside. I don't like that. Here I have a whole lot of branches. I'm going to keep the ones growing slightly upwards. And then this is a little congested. So little buds straight up. This is going down. So let's get rid of that. Too many branches, really too many stuff. Okay, let's trim this. And I guess you have here we have a branch growing under another branch, and I think that this branch here is really much better developed, so I'm going to remove that. And then the top. So the top, I want to keep it a little bit more under control, so I'm going to reduce a whole lot here. Just keep everything to a small internode, and that's it. I think I prefer this one. Okay, so for a profile, you now see that we have a little more a rounded profile. So I'm going to do the same with this tree, and then I will be back. So I just removed a whole lot of growth and using directional pruning, but you don't always have to use directional pruning or wiring. You can do both. So in this case, I think that this little branch is really nice and developed, but I'd like it to come up a little more. And well, I have a nice branch here. I lack something here, so I really think that by wiring this portion here, so the biggest part of this branch, I can bring it all up to here, and then even open this one up a little more. So I really gonna do that, because well, it's a really good branch in a good position. It's not too thick, not too thin. So first of all, I'm going to anchor the wire. And then wrap it gently around this branch. So this wire is quite thick. It's 2 mil, I think, which is almost as thick as the branch. But if you use a proper gauge, good thickness, it will allow you to just bend your branch once and not bending it back over and over again. And I apply the wire in this direction, so that means that I now can also apply a little more tension to it by just twisting it. And the end I will bring up a little more. So now, if you look at this from the front, I have a whole lot better branch here. Another thing I wanted to point out is that this is a back branch and it's getting quite thick. It's not in an ideal position. You see we have a branch growing down, but we have a few buds here. So I'm just going to remove this whole thing here. And this bud will take over, and so that's a whole lot better. And it will improve the taper. And well, it's not a big cut, but there's one you could use some wound paste on, so I'm gonna do that. Here I have a very congested area, and there's a whole lot going on. So you see there are already new buds opening, so well, we don't want that. Well, we like a whole lot of buds. This one is growing to the inside, same here. This going up completely. And then I have one little one, two, that's a second, but it has a nice size, just bud growing to the inside, don't want that. And then a whole lot of that little stuff, I think, here. But then I have this big branch here. So now I must choose between 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this one I like because it has a nice size. So I'm going to come from the other side to see. There are a few good buds here, and I like the fact that these are not too big. So I'll probably just remove the biggest and the one under it. So because I have another branch here, there's another little bud here, so I don't think I'm going to need that. And this one is really very big for a top branch, so now I also can remove the little bud here on the inside, which I will never need. And I'll try to get this a little cleaner, but you cannot do a whole lot. And I'm going to use some wound paste on that. Okay. And I also saw that I have a big scar here that is not healing over well. So the cut on this branch is not bad, and we see we have already a little callousing, but you never have callousing at the bottom of a scar like this. So if you want it to heal, you need to make a kind of V shape. It has to be pointy to the bottom. And you see now we have some green here, and that's the part that will callus over. So if you don't wound this part, it's not gonna work. So again, let's use cut paste, and I will also apply some cut paste over the entire wound, because these are maples, they tend to rot. Almost done with this tree, just a little more trimming, and then I'll clean up the surface to remove it from any debris and dead leaves. which you don't want on your trees. I think I'm almost done now. Just applying some bits of cut paste on the bigger wounds, and that's it. So as you see, well, I did cut off quite a bit, always going back to the places you want to keep. And now I need to clean up the surface, so I'm just going to use a brush, get rid of the topsoil, apply new soil, and then maybe reposition the rocks just for fun, because, well, they don't add much, especially in this season. So I'm not even sure that I will place them on the tree again. So I'll just brush this up, apply a new layer of soil, and then we'll be back for the final traditional 360. So be right back. So this concludes the video on this Japanese maple. Yeah, the big problem, of course, is the two trees here in the front that should be a whole lot bigger, and that did die off. Now, some might say that this would be an acceptable front too, which is not impossible. When I look at that, then maybe I should get this off, and then get this off, and then get this off, and it would be possible to make that as a new front. But before I try that, because the roots are a little bit crazy here, but that's all right, I think, for a raft. But before I try that, I'm going to try to fix this, because I like the clean front here. I don't know why, but yeah, it's a difficult question. This is nice too, we must admit, and yeah, I would have to lose maybe this branch, that would become an eye poker, but could tilt it a little. It's a possibility, I don't know. Well, you can always give me your idea in the comments, and who knows, in the future this might become the front of the tree. It's very well possible. Or even something like this, maybe. Sorry for the view. Something like this might be interesting also. Or like this, but then of course we would have to tilt this whole thing. But yeah, there are a whole lot of possibilities, and one is a little more crazy than the other, but for the moment I prefer this, and I just hope that I can graft a tree here. Well, two. I have a big cutting and I have a air layer, so if I can guide these around and then let them grow and protect the tree from the heat of the summer, that would be the best, I think. So we'll see. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and see you next time.